everyone, this is Lady Cleo Cosplay, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make a Twilek headband. A really simple pattern. Obviously this one's a little jazzed up, but it's a two-piece headband, so it's adjustable. It'll hold your leku on, and your ear cones can go inside it too. So today I figured I'd start our Twilek tutorials with the headband, and then we'll do the costume as well in the next tutorial. First though, let me show you how this works. This is a two-part headband. You're going to want one long strip. I do about 25 to 26 inches. That way, when you're putting it on your head, you have some additional space to make it tighter or looser, depending on how much hair you have, what type of leku you're using. That's really important because different types of leku are either thinner or more stretchable, some are not. If you have a lot of hair, you're going to want to stuff it up, and it all depends on how you wear it. So having an adjustable headband and one that's not just fixed is really, really helpful. So we also have this piece as well. This is the piece that goes around your head. Obviously also adjustable, holes for the ears, and this is my gold version, which I really like. So, I'll post the pattern for that. I'll post the images and length, cut, all that. You'll be able to use that to make your own. But basically what we're going to start out with here is put both pieces right side facing down on top of each other. And you're going to have the back side on the outside, if that makes sense. So the good fabric is on the inside. You're going to pin all the way around, as you can see, and you're going to sew just on the outside lines right here, which I've already done on this side, but leave this part open on both sides. That's important because you're going to flip it. It's going to be a tube. Same thing with these. Good stuff on the inside. Back end of the fabric on the outside. So pin those together. You're also going to want to have probably scissors or a rotary tool. You're going to make all of these flush, so make sure they match up. If you need to move it around a bit, do so, and then cut the excess fabric out. You want to make sure they're both flush because you don't want any holes when you're sewing the seam together, and you also don't want to have any awkward bumps when you go to flip it inside out, and I'll show you what that's like later. So we're going to sew this part right now. And I'm going to show you what to do with the tube, because there's actually a lot more to this than you think. Alright, so let me just get my sewing machine going. Okay. Alright, and get your black thread all set up. Make sure you're back stitching, and you don't want to leave a big seam on this one. You're going to make it really tiny, as close to the edge as you can get, while making sure you're sewing both pieces together, because you don't want to leave any holes or have any like weird curved lines, because that'll just make the headband sit funny and not look right. And remember to backstitch, that's important. Also, you're going to make sure that your sewing machine is set for make it tight. So everybody's sewing machines are different. I'm at like a 6 or a 5 with a 2.5 seam gap. I know my technical terms are not the best, but you're just going to start sewing down the side. Keep it straight and make sure you get both pieces of the fabric, because then you'll have to go back through if you miss it, or you'll have a hole when you flip the tube. Alright, so now that you've got both of these sewed together, take all the pins out, obviously. And this is just a really basic tutorial. Once we get into the Ayla Sakura costume and making all those pieces, we'll get into the more complicated stuff and just making sure that that fits you or whoever you're making it for properly. Measuring and knowing how to measure someone properly is also really important. Same with the headbands. If you're not making them adjustable, you need to know kind of how big their face is, how big their head is, how much hair they have, all that good stuff. And you're going to cut all the ends off like I'm doing right now. You don't technically have to because this will be on the inside, but my OCD. Alright, so now you're left with this big piece of fabric that's a tube. So you're going to open the one side and start flipping it inside out, and you're going to pull it through. So you're just flipping this giant tube in on itself, like that. And it can take a little while, and it's kind of tricky at first, but once you get used to it, it's good. It's no problem. There are tools to do this. There are like knitting tools that you can use for this, but I don't mind using my fingers. Just something easier for me. This is gonna take a little bit. See, we're just pulling it through. Oops. And you want to be careful. You don't want to pull it too hard, because if you didn't sew it properly or use a tight stitch, you could rip it. And you'll have to flip it back through all over again and then sew the seam. Wish I could speed this part up. But it just takes time. So you're gonna slowly just work this through. Not a huge fan of this part, but you gotta do what you gotta do. Alright. And we're almost done. Okay. Alright, so now the seams are on the inside or the outside of this piece. And really easy, real quick. I'm just going to show you. You can either leave it like this, and basically what you're going to be left with is this thick part that'll go up here if you want to leave the seam in, or you could flip it and have it flat on both sides and have it like that. For my headbands, I leave the seam in. I think it's more Jedi looking, or Twilek-y looking. So after you have this, you're going to pin just like you did with the other one, but you're going to pin both of these sides together. So make sure your seam is in the middle. Make sure you don't have any holes. So go ahead and look at all of this. If there's holes, you're going to have to flip it back around, back through, and re-sew that. So we're going to pin all of this. And you can see I'm just putting them a fair distance apart. You don't need them to cover every inch of it, but I prefer to have mine kind of tight-ish. That way the fabric is all pressed together, and when you run it through the machine, it's not going to push in a weird way, if that makes sense. And I actually did this tutorial today because these are actually being shipped out to customers. I am making these for people who have ordered on Etsy. That's how I kind of started all this. I'm a seamstress and I started an Etsy shop, so. Alright, so we're almost done pinning this whole side. Not the most exciting of parts. I'll try to speed this up. Okay, so we've got all this pinned. Make sure it's all kind of tight. And I'll be doing the same type of video tutorials with painting, airbrushing, mold making, Leia hairstyles, Leia dresses, wigs, all that good stuff. Alright, so I've got this all pinned, and you're going to run it through the sewing machine again, and you're going to give it a nice little seam right here on the inside. So you're going to make it as straight as possible. If you have a magnetic little thing like this, this will keep it so that your seam will be straight and you can run it along. You can get it at like the hardware store or a sewing store or Giants. It's a little magnetic thing, just sits on your sewing machine. I don't use that for these, but you're going to sew that all together. That's going to come out looking like this. I'll show you the inside. This one has lace on the outside, but you're going to get it so it looks like that.